In the middle of the desert, inside a monastery that has stood for more than 1400 years, is the oldest image of Jesus that still exists. An icon made in the 6th century, painted on a wooden panel using a technique that is now almost forgotten, one that has allowed it to survive in remarkable condition to this day. It is kept at the monastery of St. Catherine on Mount Sinai in Egypt, a place that has existed since the time of Emperor Justinian and that still functions today as an Orthodox monastery. No one knows for certain who painted this image. Everything suggests it was created in Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, and sent as an imperial gift. But the true mystery of this painting is not its origin, it is the image itself. When you look at Christ's face, you may immediately sense that something is off. His face is not symmetrical. His eyes and eyebrows are different from one another. If we were to place a mirror down the center of the painting, we would see something like this, creating two completely different faces. And this is not a coincidence. There are several theories that attempt to explain why the creator of this work did this intentionally. But before we get into that, there is something we need to understand first, and that is, what exactly is an icon? In Orthodox Christianity, an icon is not a work of art in the way we are used to seeing art in museums. It is not an image made to decorate a space, nor to impress anyone with the artist's personal style. An icon is a religious image that is venerated. People pray in front of it, and it is considered a spiritual tool. That is why in many Orthodox churches, you will see people kissing icons, lighting candles before them, or making the sign of the cross. Because for them, an icon is not just an image, but a sacred presence, a way of encountering the divine, and this deeply influences how icons are made. Unlike Western art, where each painter has their own style and personal vision, icons follow rules, and very strict ones. The face of Christ, for example, must always follow a specific structure. His gaze, his gestures, the colors of his clothing, the gold that becomes so recognizable in the backgrounds, everything has meaning. No matter who the artist is, the image must follow the traditional model, because the icon is not meant to express creativity, but to transmit what Orthodox Christianity considers spiritual truth. Now, this image is popularly known as the Sinai Icon, and it is believed to have been painted in the 6th century, around the year 550. According to historians, it is the oldest image of Jesus that has survived in its original form. Most experts believe it was painted in Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, a massive cultural and religious center at the time. It was likely sent as an imperial gift to the monastery of St. Catherine, which was under the direct protection of Emperor Justinian. Thanks to this, and to its isolated location in the middle of the desert, it survived events that many other images did not. Because just a few centuries after it was created, between the 8th and 9th centuries, the Byzantine world entered a period of crisis. Something known as iconoclasm took place, during which the empire itself ordered the destruction of all religious images. Thousands of icons were burned, scraped away, erased. The goal was to avoid idolatry at all costs. However, the Sinai monastery was never touched. It was far away, removed from the center of the conflict, and it also came under Muslim rule early on, meaning it was not part of the territory affected by the decrees of destruction. So while icons were disappearing in Constantinople, monks at Sinai continued praying in front of this very same image. There is another crucial detail. This painting was made using a very rare technique called encaustic. This technique involves mixing pigments with hot wax and applying them to wood. It is a method inherited from the Greco-Roman world. Extremely difficult to master, but also remarkably resistant to the passage of time. You only need to look closely at the painting to begin doubting that it was made more than 1400 years ago. It is far better preserved than many works from much later periods. The full name by which this icon is known is Christ Pantocrator. The word Pantocrator comes from Greek and means Almighty or Lord of all, and that already tells us a great deal about how Jesus is represented here. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, when you look closely at the face of Jesus in this painting, it is easy to notice that one side conveys something different from the other, and this was done entirely on purpose. On the left side of Christ, the side we see on the right, he is holding a closed gospel. The expression on this half of his face is more severe. The eyebrow lowers slightly and the eye tightens, making his gaze more intense and penetrating. According to theological interpretations, this side represents Christ as judge, the divine Christ who comes to impose order and who is capable of seeing what lies within each person. By contrast, on the other side, Christ raises his hand in a gesture of blessing, and on this side, his face changes. The eye appears slightly more open, the eyebrow remains in a more natural position, and his expression feels calmer, more approachable. This side is said to represent Christ as Savior, the human Christ who understands and accompanies his children. This visual duality could be nothing more than an artistic device, or perhaps it is something deeper. In Christianity, Jesus is fully human and fully divine at the same time. His person is understood as two natures united in a single being, and this painting may be communicating precisely that idea. Over the years, this image has inspired all kinds of interpretations. Some are convinced that the artist deliberately chose to show the two natures of Christ within a single face, that it was not an accident nor a simple aesthetic choice, but a clear decision to represent the severity of the divine judge on one side of the face and the compassion of the human savior on the other. But not everyone agrees with this reading. A number of scholars argue that the interpretation may have emerged much later, and that the asymmetry could simply be the result of the style of the period, the encaustic technique itself, or even the restorations the painting has undergone over the centuries. And before the comments fill up with discussions about what Jesus really looked like, it is worth clarifying that this video does not attempt to claim that this painting is a faithful representation of his physical appearance. The focus of this video is on what the image communicates, on the visual language that was used, and on the mystery that has surrounded this icon for almost 1500 years. So I would like to ask you whether you think it is possible that nearly 1500 years ago, artists were already thinking in such advanced pictorial terms. I would love to read your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching this video until the end. And as always, if you would like to own a faithful reproduction of this icon, you can now find it in our store. In the link in the description, you will find our catalogue with more than 800 carefully selected historical paintings, so you can begin your own art collection and turn your home into your own personal museum. Worldwide shipping is free, and by purchasing, you will be supporting me enormously in continuing to create videos like this. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next video.